Martha, how heavy did you hip thrust this week?
I believe it was 245.
And how many reps did you do?
Oh, I got that up 5 times.
Yep, 5 times. And you did 6 sets.
Yeah.
At 245.
That's 30.
Hey everybody, and welcome to I Got This with Lex and MGP. I'm Lex and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha has been my client for 3 years, and over that time she has lost over 50 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each week as we dive into health, mindset, and everything in between. I got this pod. Today we are talking about heavy lifting. Heavy lifting, defining that it's tricky. There are so many ways to define heavy lifting. You could think of what is heavy for you.
Mm-hmm.
You could think of power lifters.
Oh, yeah.
People who lift, I don't know, how you had a student, you said.
Yeah, that he's like a strong man.
A strong man. How much does he lift, do you think?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's insane amounts of weight.
Yeah. It's insane.
Okay. So if you were to look back to your day one of working out to today,
Mm-hmm.
would you think that you would be lifting 235 pounds hip thrusting or 45 pounds?
Probably not. I didn't even know what hip thrust was, so for sure. Not.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know.
But if you said I was going to put, almost 250 pounds across my waist and then thrust it up using basically just, my butt.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd been like, you're crazy.
You're insane. All right. So Martha, when you think about where you started to today, what was heavy lifting to you then? And what did it mean to you? And where are you now?
I mean, I didn't really think I would be heavy lifting, to be honest. I wanted to tone, how everyone always wants to tone. And I thought that meant doing maybe 30 reps at 5-pound dumbbells or bicep curls or something like that. Which now when you bring over 5-pounders, I'm like, why do we have the paper weights?
You're like, what is that? So it's funny to think though, at that time, mm-hmm. for you, that was heavy lifting.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you're like, this is really heavy. This is difficult for my muscles. So it's hard to do.
5-pound dumbbell, the shoulder press was hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Really straining.
Mm-hmm.
Now we move into, let's fast forward a year from when you started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I threw you under the back squat at 95 pounds. Mm-hmm. That was heavy lifting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And what was going through your mind at that time, a year into training?
I hope I can get back up. It was still scary. That one still scares me, as you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But I trusted that you knew what I was capable of.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I'm like, pretty sure you can do this. Let's try it.
I'll spot you.
Yeah. I'm going to teach you how to fail.
Yeah, we've done that.
But let's try it.
I think a couple of times you said, I'm spotting you. And I'm like, but who's spotting you? Spotting me.
Are you helping me? Or can you spot me? No. Yeah. So at that time it's still very scary to put up weights that you weren't sure if you could even lift.
Correct. Mm-hmm. It's frightening, but then after you do it, you get that adrenaline high of,
and you're like,
look at me go.
Oh my God, I can actually do this.
Mm-hmm.
So were you afraid of anything? Getting hurt?
Getting hurt, of course. That's first and foremost, right?
Getting hurt. Getting bulky?
A little bit at first, I think, but then I realized, how many times did you say? You don't have the testosterone to get bulky.
Yeah, you don't. You just don't. I think a lot of women, we've talked about this so many times, but I think our generation and in education, people are understanding that you're not going to get bulky lifting. I saw this Instagram reel. It was somebody who said, that's like saying it's somebody who's saying, oh, if I drive a car, I'm afraid I'm going to be as fast as a NASCAR driver. I thought that was funny because that's the same thing as somebody who starts lifting weights and saying, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to look like a bodybuilder. It's just not going to happen. No. Sorry, you're not good enough.
Yeah. Well, and I think to be a bodybuilder, you have to have a very specific program and a very specific diet.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
a whole nother world and supplements and all that stuff that goes into it.
You're not going to look manly. But I do think we're coming out of that space and time where people have that.
I think it's a big concern still for women of my generation.
Okay. That makes sense.
The women in the generation older than me, they never strength trained.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
a little bit of Jane Fonda or aerobics or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Step classes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think the women in my generation are starting to embrace strength training a little bit, but they're still afraid of it.
Okay. So that's good. And whereas my girls that come in from 20 to 35, even 40, they're like, I want to learn how to lift weights.
Right.
I have a whole group at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they literally, every single one of them was like, I want to lift weights. So it's going from like, I think earlier in my career, even 5 years ago, women would say, I don't want to get bulky, but I think now that age range, they're like, no, I want to build a butt. That's always about the Kim K butt, but no, they do. They all want a butt. And
then you're going to have to hip thrust 245 pounds.
Yes, you are. That I don't know if I can guarantee a Kim K butt, but I can guarantee a booty lift for sure, like a little round butt. But that's always the thing, is the girls want the butt. Don't we all though?
Yeah. Why would you want a flat butt?
Exactly. Who wants a flat booty? But they also want like strong shoulders, and they understand that, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh, my daughter's not afraid to lift at all.
Yeah. Oh, your daughter is so strong.
Where does she get it?
I wonder. 2 parents with very dense muscle. I think that's cool. I think the education portion is coming in. I think your generation is hearing it.
Well, we're seeing the benefits too.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of friends who are always like, oh, I can't believe you still want to lift heavy, but that same thing. Are you worried you're going to get bulky? No, I've been doing it for 3 years. Yeah. I think if that was going to happen, kind of the opposite is actually happening.
Exactly.
So
let's start at so for you, when you strength train, you lose body fat percentage like that. So let's talk about a few scenarios. Now, the thing is, I will say it a million times, everybody's body is different. Everybody's. So you may fall into a few of these categories, you may not. I'm going to kind of talk about a few scenarios that I see when we start strength training. First, I'm going to talk about the young woman from 17 to 30, who is naturally leaner. Okay. Because body type is very real. And just because one girl can start lifting heavy and eating more and builds muscle quickly, it starts losing body fat, doesn't mean the other girl is.
For sure.
And being realistic about your own body type, I think, is very important. And the other thing is like being proud of what body type you have, and being like I got some girls who got a little bit more muscle and they're like, I'm strong as hell. Like strong as hell. Like I throw weight at them and they're like, this is still too light. And I love it because it's still empowering. And it doesn't mean like, just because they can't lose fat as quickly doesn't mean that it's not as empowering, and that their body is their body is curvy and sexier than, not sexier, but curvy and sexy in a different way than the girl that's lean and wants to build a butt.
It's confidence building.
It is.
You can put up some weight.
Exactly. It's so cool. So let's talk about the young girl, or in her, 20s to 30, who wants to build muscle. She's going to start, number one, start with form. Number two, start with gradually pushing up weight. And she's going to need to eat enough protein to fuel those gains. And that person will see results pretty gosh darn quickly.
Yeah. Darn hormones.
Yes. It's not even fair. Now let's talk about the guy at that same age. He will see results more likely than not double the time that girl will be seeing results, or I'm sorry, in a shorter amount of time.
I knew what you meant. Yep.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the next person. Women over the age of
40, maybe
40.
Yeah.
Post having babies.
Probably starting to head into maybe perimenopause or menopause, depend.
Yeah.
Right. Hormones are changing.
Boom. Still heavy lifting, but still seeing change in body fat percentage a little bit quicker. It's when you start to get to 50 where it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
But it's doable and it happens. So you start more with cardio, kind of get your heart rate up, that type of thing. And then you move into heavy lifting, and you compare it, again, everybody's body's different. So like whether you're pairing it with cardio. So women over 50 are the ones that always look at the people younger than them, like, why am I not seeing results with that type of lifting? Now tell me, how many results have you seen since you started putting up big heavy weight?
It comes and goes. So it's like, we'll be lifting heavy and I'm having great results. Yeah. And then the dreaded plateau comes, or the flattening comes out, and then we have to figure it out or change it up.
Yeah. And what do we change? We don't necessarily always change your weights. We more so change your what?
Sometimes we change the diet.
90% of the time we change your nutrition. Because I mean,
and when I say diet, I don't mean I'm dieting. I just mean the
macro breakdown, or how you're eating, or how you're moving outside of lifting.
Correct. Yeah.
If you're doing more like steady state cardio.
Am I getting more bike rides in? Am I going for a run or a walk with the dog even?
Exactly.
I know those don't count as active workouts, but they count for that NEAT.
Yeah. You're burning more calories throughout the day, right? So we just pivot and continue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, sometimes we do remain flat for months.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden we change it up and something else whooshes again.
Exactly. And it's a good thing because you would rather maintain than go the opposite way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But building muscle is empowering in all regards in terms of like confidence.
Oh yeah. I'm stronger now than I've been in years.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, I can do hard things. I can, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely, your 1 rep max, which I'm not going to get into right now,
but it's kind of fun when you go up.
Yes, it is. And okay. So let's get into a 1 rep max.
I wasn't meaning to you to get into it.
No, I kind of want to. When I brought that out to you, it's probably how far into our training experience? Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, I was a while in.
Yeah. Because you're not going to bring it up to anybody who isn't lifting crazy heavy.
No, my 1 rep max would have been an empty barbell.
Yeah. You're like, and one. And that's normal and that's okay, right?
Right. I mean, it's still 45 pounds.
But it's good to know what this is, because a lot of people just want to see how strong they are.
For sure.
So if you guys haven't done that, well, number one, if you haven't done it in a while and you lift consistently, highly recommend you do it with a partner. I'll explain why you need to do it with somebody.
Oh, I would never do that by myself.
No. And then especially I would recommend a trainer, because like, let's say you're back squatting and your form is crap on the last, like however many sets you do. I'll explain why, but those reps don't count. So.
Right. Yeah. I love when you're always like, that didn't count. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why you do me this way?
Why do me like that? I'm like, no, that really heavy weight that was really hard for you to do, it doesn't count.
Like,
sorry.
Felt like it counted.
But you did it wrong. So a 1 rep max test is a test that you do. So it's as close as you can get to 1 rep at a heavy, like the heaviest weight that you feel like you can hit. So think scale 1 out of 10 in difficulty, 10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest. It's as close to 10 as it can be without any pain, without poor form.
That's usually what gets me.
It's always, usually it is form. It's not your strength.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you don't always hit 1, like maybe you'll hit like 3 reps. So you can calculate what your true 1 rep max would be.
Usually you make me do 3 because you're like, I don't think number 2 counted. Go again.
I'm like, try again, please. I think you can do it.
I just want to see that again, I think.
Do it for good luck. Give me 1 for good luck. Yeah. So if you guys haven't done that before or need help with it, reach out to me. But the other thing is, if you're doing like a back squat, you want somebody to make sure that you're doing it properly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I would never, especially like a bench press.
Do you want to go over I think you should talk about your scary experience.
I mean, yeah, I've had a couple actually, but back squat's probably the scariest one for me.
Yeah.
I mean, deadlift's not scary if you're talking about the big 3, because you can just drop it if you had to.
The worst thing comes to worst, deadlift, you drop the weight.
Yeah. It's going to be loud, but
it's not the end of the world.
Unless you don't get your feet out of the way, you're going to be fine.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. Yeah. I mean, bench can be a little scary, but you're usually hovering over me like this.
Dropping my gum in your face.
Well, that's a story for another episode.
Did that actually happen, or did I have a scary vision that it happened?
It almost happened.
Yes. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to throw my gum out. I was like leaning over you like, what? And I was like, oh, I almost dropped my gum in your face. It's disgusting. Trainer fail. Trainers don't chew gum during your sessions.
When you're leaning over your client's face.
Exactly. That's disgusting. When I first started training, do you want to hear a side tangent?
Yeah, we love side stories.
My gym, and I was like shadowing another trainer, and I was chewing gum. And I think like you all, when you chew gum, like how to chew it gross and like how to chew it right. Yeah. And the guy I was shadowing after the session, and I was like, literally like 2 months in shadowing, he goes, you sounded like a cow chewing your gum.
And I'll get rid of that now.
I was like, in that, yes, truly, like I never chew gum in my sessions. Like maybe like once if I have a bad breath, but I always spit it out like pretty quickly.
Almost in my face, but okay.
Again.
That was a while ago.
Starter fail. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. You haven't done that in a while.
I've never spit it in your face.
I know. You're the one that said you did.
It was almost. Shouldn't have told you, but I did spit it out after that. No. So that was I think that was a good thing that happened because now I never chew gum in my sessions. Anyways.
Go back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes. Okay. So what happened when you were having lifting? It was kind of a scary experience.
I did have an experience where I was back squatting and I was still very new at it. And we had probably a little bit too much weight on the bar. You actually weren't my trainer at the time. And I slipped and I pitched kind of in a weird way. And I missed the safeties that were up. Or I didn't know how to fail properly either at that point. But my foot went out from underneath me and then I got pinned. Actually, the trainer and I got pinned under the barbell and another trainer lifted it off of us.
What? That's horrifying.
It was scary. Yeah. And I pulled a hamstring muscle just because the way it kind of bent my leg back. Yeah. And it took a couple weeks to kind of rehab my hammy, but I'm fine. But for a long time, I was kind of chicken about back squatting.
You were, yeah.
Yeah. You had to like almost talk me. Like I didn't do it again for probably 4 or 6 months. And at that point is also when I switched trainers to you and you're like, we're going to back squat. And I'm like, and I kept begging out of it.
Yeah. You're like, I really don't want to. And I guess I didn't understand the depth of the situation until much later on. I think it was still very, very early on in my career when I took you on as a client and I didn't understand like how that feel like getting hurt is scary. So like you're very deterred of like things.
And it wasn't even like a major injury, but it could have been.
Well, yeah, it could have been. It could have broke your leg. Yeah. It could have crushed anything. So yeah, no, that makes sense. But I think the thing is to know is that yes, heavy lifting is dangerous. You can just pull something just like lifting something wrong.
Oh, for sure.
But like,
sure, you can pull something just gardening.
Exactly. Exactly. But you learned how to reset and do it properly.
Well, and I told you when we went back to lifting heavy, and we had been doing some back squat with light weights.
Yeah.
But when we were ready to start heavy back squatting, and I think that day we actually had like 185 on the bar because it was heavy. You were having me do like 3 or 5 reps, I think. You made me fail. And
I did.
Yeah.
I forced you to fail.
You forced me to fail.
I was like, fail. No, like,
and I was like, I'll do it at the end. And you're like, no, you will do it now. That was one of our fun, like yelling at each other days.
Yeah. I was like, no, you're going to fail right now so that you know how to do it without getting hurt.
And then you made me do it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
You're like, fail. I'm like, okay. And I did. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll be fine. I'll start squatting now. And you're like, no, fail again.
So let's talk about that for anybody new. Like, maybe if there is a lift that you are super insecure about and you are heavy lifting, maybe that's the first way, like figure out how to fail without hurting yourself, whether it be, back squat is really one of the biggest ones, but even if you're doing like barbell cleans or something more CrossFit-y, you're never going to do those without a coach. But look, maybe asking your coach if they haven't taught you how, hey, can you teach me how to do this first without, first failing so that I know how to do it. If I know that I can't continue to put up the weight or, I think I'm going to get hurt or something along those lines.
I've said that to you. I'll say, I'm not going to fail, but if I was,
yes, exactly.
What would I do? And you've showed me.
Yes.
And just different lifts, not even the back squat.
I love it. I think chest press was one of them. And I was like, oh, well, like if you go down and it's just not going back out, you push it, like you push the weights away basically.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what if I can't get it back up? How are you going to lift it off me? You're like, you're still helping.
Yes. Oh, that's the other thing with bench press. Like, let's say you are with a friend at the gym. Oh my God, this has happened so many times. If you're failing and you can't continue to push the weight back up, don't stop. And somebody else is spotting you, like going to help you lift it. Don't stop pushing. Like you got to help that person. Like I can spot a man that's lifting 145, 150, whatever. I can spot him.
Because you're not grabbing 150 off him.
No, he's helping me take half that load or however much. So that's just my biggest advice. If you fail, don't stop lifting if somebody is helping you put that weight back up.
Yeah. Usually it's just a finger that you come in with.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
It's what I do. I'm like one finger.
You have a really strong finger, clearly.
It's honestly, you know why I do that? It's because it's your mind that thinks it's getting help. You have no idea. Like my finger's not doing anything, obviously. But I do have people who fail and I'm literally like this. And they're like, oh, I'm getting help. I can push the weight up.
Or I yell, don't you dare.
I know.
You're coming in.
And I literally go, and you're like, don't touch the weight. Yeah.
I can do it.
That is interesting how much your mind, if it thinks it's getting help, it will continue. Oh my gosh, it's just shocking, actually. That's another topic. Trainers out there, if you do listen, let me know if you've come across that phenomenon. I have helped with literally just like a slight lift and I'm doing nothing.
The air lift, the air help.
Yes, the air help. And your mind's like, yeah, I know I can do that. So,
but I've come to discover too. I mean, yes, you're going to have fails at the gym. I'm like the klutziest person at the gym other than maybe you. I don't know. The two of us are ridiculous.
What question did I ask you last week? I was like, Martha, how many times a week do you hit your head? Did I ask you that?
Yeah.
And you were like 0. I hit my head like twice a week on a regular basis.
You must just be like at the right height to hit all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I get bruises like here or on my thighs. Maybe
that's it. Because I like bang. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I probably have a ton of mini concussions.
Yeah, you need to protect that.
I'll wear a helmet around the gym.
That'd look good.
Anyways, let's get off that topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, where were we?
Just failing.
Failing
at the gym.
Yeah, failing at the gym is.
But don't let that be a hindrance to lifting heavy. I guess that's kind of where we're going with that.
Yes.
So don't be. I mean, it is scary. I still get scared sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, you're like, you're fine.
Yeah.
And I'll help you. And you always reassure that you're going to be there and help me.
And failure is also a good thing sometimes. I mean, so I've learned 2 different schools of thought. And I believe in something right in the middle. So number 1, I've learned you don't want to fail consistently because you don't want to train your body to fail. I've also learned you want to work so hard that you get to failure. And failure does not mean like you literally can't pull it anymore. It means your form is tapped out. So even though you're like doing a lat pull down, right? And if you're doing that lat pull down, if you can't get to here, then like you've probably gone so far, but if you're going here and your form is like crunched up and poor, then you're probably doing it incorrectly for sure.
And that's usually where we're at. You're like, you're done. And I'm like, no, you're like, you're done.
No, you're done. Your form is tapped. And that's hard to tell on your, in that sense, like sometimes I think right down the middle, like for pull-ups, you should go until failure for sure. Yeah. For certain exercises where you're really trying to pump and get strong, I think going till failure can be beneficial.
Pushing the muscle.
Yeah, you got to push yourself. Yeah,
exactly. So I actually kind of get excited when I fail.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, woo.
You're like, it's about time. I'm just kidding. But no, I think it is something I would highly recommend that everybody build up the strength to. If you feel like you're at that point where you don't know if you can push up the weights, but you want to try, I would recommend that as well. And I would definitely reach out to a trainer. Me, of course, but no, anybody at your local gym that might be able to help you.
Sometimes you don't realize you can go more.
No.
Like yesterday, you're like, go get a pair of 60-pound dumbbells. I'm like, 60s?
Yeah. You were like, are you serious? Because we did 50s for 3 weeks on RDLs, and then we did 55s, and then I bumped up to 60.
And then I went and got them.
Yeah. And then you went and got them. Then you walked over there and got them. Yeah.
And it was heavy.
It was heavy, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to do it for sure.
And honestly, when I was doing barbell RDLs not that long ago, really that's equivalent to 120 pounds there.
Exactly.
That's a lot of weight. And I was not going anywhere near that when we were with the barbell.
I know. So the fact that you can do it with dumbbells is pretty cool. Dumbbell RDLs are a little bit harder because you have to have the control of your shoulders too. So. Yeah,
no, they definitely are harder. No one, don't argue for me.
So yeah, if you guys feel like you can try it, at least try it. But have somebody there with you. I would always say that. I
mean, the one thing I'm going to call you out just for hair, but Lex's pet peeve at the gym is if people drop their weights.
Oh, I do. I am the lunk alarm.
You are.
I talked to 3 people last week.
Well, and what I was going to say,
go ahead.
I had the 60-pound dumbbells, and I had to drop them yesterday.
She did. She had to drop the weight.
But I dropped them on a mat.
You dropped them on a mat. One time you dropped them, and I didn't know you were going to drop them, and I gave you the death glare. That was about 2 weeks ago. I was like,
that was an accidental drop, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you do have to drop your weights, please set them down gently. Don't
actually drop them.
Don't drop off them from 3 feet above the ground. It's ridiculous. It's not necessary.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, a lot of people do it to be like dramatic or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the gym, bro, like, come on, man. If you cannot control the weights,
it's not the weight for you.
Yes, it's not the weight for you. If you can't set it down, oh my God. No, I'm sorry.
Those 60s, my grip was going yesterday.
Yeah.
But I got into a mat.
Do you know why it bothers me?
Because it's loud and annoying.
Yes, it's loud and annoying, but it also makes other people feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally does.
And like, that's not our gym.
Mm-mm.
Our gym is not like, that's not the goal. It's to make everybody feel like welcome. And if you're like listening to the guy or I'm sorry, girls do it too. I literally watched a woman throw her weight the other day and I looked.
Yeah, I was there with that.
Yeah. And I almost went up to her.
Because you kept asking me, is she throwing that?
I literally was like, am
I overreacting?
Is that me? Or is that, cause now I'm like super sensitive to it. I'm like, am I overreacting here? But no, it's rude, honestly. So that's my Lex talk.
So if you think you're going to drop them, get a mat.
Yes.
That's my point.
Yes.
Get a cushion it.
You can cushion the blow and just
because I knew my grip was starting to go.
Exactly.
RDLs.
And that's going to happen with heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's going to happen. You just have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
And if not, I will find you.
I will hunt you down.
I am the lunk alarm. No, it's always fun when I come over. I'm like this, I'm like 5'3", and it's always these big giant guys.
That are at least a foot taller than you.
At least.
And I'm laughing because I'm like, they do not know what they're about to face.
I know. They like think I'm going to be like, hi. No, I'm like, excuse me, sir. Can you please? And I'm like, excuse me, can you not set your weights down? Are you not strong enough to do that? I don't know. All right. I'm done with that topic.
No,
anyways.
I didn't mean to make it into a topic.
I'm passionate about that one. Anyways. Well, that's our topic for this week. Guys, thank you all for joining us. This was episode number 20.
21.
Thank you guys for joining us for our 21st episode. Please send us feedback.
Don't be afraid to lift heavy.
Don't be afraid to lift heavy.
You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends. I don't think I could do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
And your heavy might be different than my heavy. That's okay.
And I want to hear your thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I got this.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for year 2021 with our episode.
Year 2022, by the way.
Okay. Awkward. We'll say that next week. Anyways.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed what you heard, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at I Got This Pod. See you next week. And remember, I got this.